There are two key things to keep in mind when applying for a job, and those are that your application needs to be both relevant to the job description and it needs to stand out. To achieve this means you'll need to be a good fit for the job description. That ticks off the relevant part, while also demonstrating your passion for the industry and that you're aligned to the company's vision, mission, and values, which then ticks off the stand out part. In this lesson, we're going to be covering a 4-step framework that you can use when applying for a job to ensure your application remains both relevant and stands out from the crowd, as well as top tips when it comes to writing your CV and cover letter. The first step is to spend a bit of time researching the company. For example, this would include reading the company's About page, knowing what their vision, mission, and values are, reviewing their Twitter page and becoming aware of their recent news, as well as finding out the name of the person hiring you. The second step is to emphasize your industry knowledge. This is the part that will help you stand out from everyone else. Highlight what's unique about you by telling them why you're passionate about working in this industry and for this company. And make sure to highlight your industry network and knowledge. The third step is to highlight your relevance to the job role. Your goal here is to be able to explain to them that you're the right person for the role by demonstrating how your experience matches each item on the job description. If you're seeking a role outside of your previous work experience, you'll need to be able to explain how your skills and experience can be transferred over into this new role as outlined in the job description. Remember, most employers are looking for you to match approximately 70% of their skill and knowledge needs. This shows that you're a good fit while still leaving room for growth. So, even if you only have 70% of what they're looking for, don't feel like it's a no-go. By all means, continue to apply for the job with confidence. The final step is to show them you can do the job. This would include things as discussed in the last lesson, such as creating an attractive LinkedIn profile, including testimonials and references, an online portfolio showcasing work you've done in the past, whether that's from paid or unpaid roles, and posting industry leadership content on social media while also actively engaging with industry stakeholders. Now that you have a solid understanding of the general process of what makes for a successful application, let's look at the key documents you need for applying for a job. These would be your CV and cover letter. When creating your CV, we'd advise using a website called resume.io, which can be found in your Tools folder. The site basically does all the structuring and formatting for you, as well as checks your spelling. We'd suggest using the Amsterdam template. All you need to do is log into the site, fill in all of your details, and download it as a PDF. When it comes to your CV, the most important thing is to ensure your application is relevant to the job description. So, first and foremost, ask yourself, how relevant is your CV to the job description? Something to be aware of here is ATS, applicant tracking software, which is used by a lot of companies and recruiting agencies to store, sort, and ultimately select candidates for consideration. When you apply for a job by uploading your CV through an online job site, there is a good chance that your CV won't be reviewed by a human eye first. They'll be reviewed by an ATS. If and only if the ATS determines you're a strong enough fit for further consideration, you'll then move on to human eyeballs. In order to get through the ATS system, you absolutely must align your CV to the job description by making sure you use the same keywords that are prominently used in the job description. Another useful tip is to keep a master version of your CV, which you can think of as the ultimate version of your CV. You'll never actually apply for a job using this version, so you can make it as long as you want. When the time does come to applying for a job, you can then simply make a copy of it, and then tweak and trim it down to make it relevant to the specific job you're applying for. This can save you a lot of time when having to tweak your CV each and every time you apply for a new role. Thirdly, have a solid structure to your CV. The Amsterdam template should give you a good idea of how to go about this. Have a short About Me section at the top of your CV. Typically, this can be a similar but much shorter version to the executive summary you would have created for your LinkedIn profile. Try to briefly mention your leadership qualities, your industry knowledge, and job role experience here. Another key thing to getting through the ATS is formatting. Keep it simple and straightforward, as in, don't go crazy with a bunch of columns, headers, unusual fonts, and graphics. Make sure your CV is easy to read and consider how it looks on the page. Also, make sure to always double check there are no silly spelling or punctuation mistakes on your CV. You may want to download Grammarly on your computer to help with this. Finally, keep it concise. The less waffle and more concise and to the point you can make your CV, the better. This will help demonstrate your copywriting and communication skills. When it comes to your cover letter, the first thing that we'd again advise is that it's helpful to read through the job description before writing it, so you can understand what the employer is looking for and then aim to match it. Arguably, the most important section of your cover letter is the first couple of sentences at the beginning, in which you'd explain why you want the job, why you're interested in that industry, and what you like about the company. Remember, employers look for someone who is excited about what they're doing, so make sure you show enthusiasm for the industry, as well as the job role. A useful tip at this stage is to mention any recent industry news and hot topics. This is going to really help you stand out. The work that you would have done in exercise 10 should be able to help with this. Then select 3 or 4 of the most important points from the job description and expand on how you meet those. Make sure you share a brief example from your current or prior roles that backs these points up. However, you will still have to keep these examples brief and concise, as typically your cover letter should only be 1 page long. And finally, finish strong. Wrap up with something like, I would love to meet up and discuss this opportunity in more detail with you. Thank you so much for your consideration, and I hope to speak with you soon. If you can bring your CV and cover letter to life by lining it with the vision, mission, and values of the company, you'll be one step closer to getting invited for interview. Remember, your employer isn't just looking for someone to do the job. They want someone who can move the vision of the organization forward.